What's going on, y'all? So I just wanted to quickly get on here and talk about something that's been on my mind since last night because it happened last night. Um, if you don't know, I am a member of the LGBT community. I am a lesbian, 100%, nothing bad or anything about it. Just straight click is all that I lick. Okay, but I didn't really put it like that, but hey, that's what it is. Okay, I could be open, I can be real with y'all, and we just got through. Wasn't National Coming Out Month? Coming Out Day was last week, and then I have to experience what I experienced last night. I've never, which was dealing with homophobia. I've never experienced anything like this. Um, you have people that will talk shit behind a computer screen or whatever, but to hear it in public, to hear it in person, to hear somebody attacking another person or a group of people just because, and it was very unwarranted, okay? So, also, I just want to talk about what I went. Listen, last night, if you know or are familiar with Duran Bernard, okay, he sings backup from with Erica Badu, and she discovered him on YouTube. I've been saw him and seen him on YouTube, got hooked. His voice is absolutely amazing. Okay, go get his new project. It's called Soundcheck. It's on iTunes now, and you probably, if some of y'all who are new to him, probably heard his Beyonce Sorry cover. The way he worked and murked that shit, it was so fucking everything. And I've always wanted to see him live. Okay, and he was out here earlier this year, in Chicago performing at the same club that he was at last night, and I missed it. So I was like, I have to get a ticket. I have to witness this, okay? And so I go, and I've never been to this club. It's called Refuge Live downtown in Chicago, and it's like an open mic thing. It gives opportunity for local talents to come in and just sing and put their work out there and things of that matter. And they have other people come in like Duran and all that shit. It was cool. So when I get there, I'm in VIP section that's up in the front. I'm feeling a little good, feeling special and all this stuff because they had food for the VIP and everything. And I was like, oh, okay. I ain't eat the food because I don't ever eat when I go out like that because I just don't. And I knew something was wrong and up to the fact that I go out and that's when I drink. Like when I drink, sometimes you got to put a little lick in your system to, feel a little good. But I ordered one Long Island iced tea and I barely drank it because I was just over the majority of the whole night. I was just over it because of a lot of the stuff that went on. So I'm sitting right there by the bar, and everything was fine. We're waiting for the show to start. First of all, had I known he was not going on as long as he as at the time that it said on that paper, baby, I wouldn't have got there so early. Okay, we was there when the doors open because the paper said, 8 o'clock. Okay, so 8 o'clock we go in. We're fine, and it was like probably 10 or something like that, or a little bit after when we get shout out to Jennifer. She was the hostess of the night. And I mean, you have a host that can sing her ass off. Like the talent was just overflowing and overwhelming and amazing. Okay, so I really didn't mind the fact that we had to wait, all this time to see Duran. That's what I came there for. This guy gets up there. No, I'm sitting there. Okay, I'm sitting in a chair right by the bar. It's a lounge chair, and where against the wall where anybody can just sit, whatever. So it was these three couples come in, they sitting there literally right across from me, this much space across, okay? And it was a chair next to me that this guy who I guess was associated with them, single friend, he eventually sat down and, they was chopping it up. And it was fine. Decent, nice looking couples. One of them was a newlywed. And most of them, they looked like they were probably mid 30s, like upper 30s, probably 37, on up to them probably mid 40s, okay? That looked like the age range, okay? Beautiful black couples, all right? And that's where all the compliments on them ended. Because as the night went on, the drinks was flowing amongst them. And not really that many drinks was flowing, okay? After the first drink, that's when shit really started getting all fucked up. All right? So the first artist or the first guy, he comes up, Shout out to Adam Ness. He did a beautiful job, okay? I've never heard of him. And he gets up there, and when he talks, you can tell, he could possibly be a gay man, or that's just how he talks. You can't really just judge a book by its cover. Maybe that's really how his voice sound or whatever. But instantly, when he starts talking into the mic because his voice is so soft or whatever, they start in. Oh my God, what the fuck is this shit? What is this? What is he? Nigga, I can't watch this stuff. And talking to the dude that was next to me, because the guy that was next to me, our seats is facing the stage. On the lounge chair, what they're sitting at, the little lounge or whatever, is facing my direction. So you have to turn and look if you're sitting over there. So the main guy, he's like, no, I can't watch this shit. And if you watch it, you gay, you this. And, oh, well, you can't help but watch it because, it's in your direction and all this stuff. And look at this little sissy, he all dainty and all this stuff. And, no, nigga, what you gonna sing about and all this stuff? And I'm just sitting here like, are you serious? Like, am I really hearing this? And was loud with it. So when the guy started singing, his voice is beautiful. All right. And at this point, the women, they were loving his voice or whatever. And at one point they were trying to be like, shut up, shut up, shut up. But as the night went on, it just kept escalating. And then the drinks going on with it was bringing it out more. And I was just sitting here like, I know I'm not hearing what I'm hearing, because I didn't say nothing at first, and I didn't even look in that direction at first. But I'm like, is this really happening? So I said, maybe it's just a slip of the tongue or whatever, but they just kept going, and it kept getting worse while this boy is up there performing his ass off, okay? And once he finished, we get another guy comes up, and his name was Sheldon. He had a different tone to his voice. It was a little deeper. And as the guy said, okay, I can look at this, okay, because, he got this manly voice. That's what a man's supposed to sound like and all this stuff, But them suspenders, because he had on this wide brim hat, and he had on these tight pants, and he had on a white long sleeve shirt with some suspenders. He was like, but this outfit, nah, what the fuck is this and all this shit. And then he was singing about a woman and all this, so I guess that was okay to them. But they were still talking shit about his appearance and how he looked like this and how he looked like that. And I'm just sitting here like, well, if you don't fucking like it, get the fuck up and leave, please. I'm not understanding why you still here. So I'm just sitting here annoyed because they're laughing so hard with it. And then I look over, and the wives are like egging it on. And then when it comes time for Duran to get on the stage, if you ever see Duran, he's a little, flamboyant with it, but he be feeling his music. So he's going to get into it, and Duran is going to stay true to his fucking self. So if he want to do this and do that, he's going to do this and do that, whether you like it or not, okay? And that is when I completely lost it. Because prior to that, the ringleader gets up, and I don't know where he went. This guy comes from the front, and he's obviously a gay man, okay? He was very effeminate and everything. He sits down in the seat, and he asks the lady, his wife, is somebody sitting here? She said, my husband, he's sitting there, but when he get back, you just get up when he finish. She was like, okay, cool, because I gave my seat to somebody else. And they was chopping it up for a second. And then when the husband comes, he sees him sitting in the seat. And then the wife said, okay, my husband here, so he's getting up. And he looks at him because the guy is from behind, and he has on these tight jeans and this tight jacket or whatever. And he's just like, oh, hell no. The little fruitcake was sitting up in my seat, and then his ass is right there in my face or whatever. I can't sit right there. I can't sit up in this seat no more. I'm sitting here like, so because this grown man sat in a seat that really wasn't yours, which is the club, okay, owned by this club, you can't sit down there? And because he was standing up, and if he's standing up and you sit down, his ass would be in your face, and you couldn't just tell him to move over? Why are you staring at his ass? I just didn't understand that shit, right? And I'm just like, no, this can't be fucking happening. Okay, I'm trying to enjoy myself, but I cannot. And if you see my Twitter, my tweets from around that time, like 9, 10 something or whatever on, it was just saying the whole thing, same thing, okay? I was just really, really annoyed and disgusted by what was going on. To the point that when Duran got up there and he was performing, that took them fucking out, okay? Look at this faggot, look at this sissy, all this shit. Man, don't nobody want to hear this stuff. Bryce, what this? What they thinking about? Oh, what you doing and why he dancing like that? And all this shit. And I'm just sitting there like, man, I don't want to hear this shit. I don't know what this is and blah, 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 blah. And at one point, Duran was talking to a female in the audience, and she was like, I'm going to have to talk to you after the show, boo. And then they're going to say what y'all going to talk about, lipstick and shit. And then at that moment in time, I was just like, you know what? One fucking more. One more, because it was just stirring up in me. It was just rising. You know when you try so hard to just mind your business and people just and you try so hard to just keep your mouth closed, but it comes to a point where enough is fucking enough, okay? Excuse me. The guy that was sitting next to me had left, all right? Why couldn't you just leave? Another guy sat down next to me and was like, who is this guy? I'm explaining who he is and I'm putting down his credentials. He was like, is he a superstar or something? I said, he got a little, following off of YouTube and he sings back up for Erykah Badu. Like he's a really good singer. He just put out another project and all that stuff. And he was taking it in. He had no problem with it. And he's in their age group or whatever. So at this point in time, the ringleader, him and his wife, gets up and leave. And Duran is still singing. We still got two other couple. The newlywed couple and this other couple that was sitting on there with them. And they were still going on. And I mean, they turned the shit up to the max that I just said, fuck this shit. Because he was like, at one point, Duran was like, y'all want me back? I'm going to be back here. Y'all going to come back and see me. And then dude going to say some, hell no, I'm going to go bowling. Fuck that shit. And then was like, why we up in this bitch? This is just And I said, the nigga, why don't you leave? I literally just turned around and said, why don't you fucking leave? If it's making you so uncomfortable, why don't you leave? I couldn't help it. I couldn't fucking help it. Like, it was just irritating me so fucking much. And then I stared at him while I said it. Dude didn't say nothing, but he was staring at me like he trying to stare me down, like I supposed to back the fuck away and be scared because you sitting over there talking about something in the BTG this and that, making fun of the letter on purposely, rearranging the letters and stuff like that, and then you're making these slick ass comments and all this shit. So you staring me down like I supposed to back the fuck down. I don't give a shit if you're a man or not, bitch. Okay? What you were saying was ignorant as fuck. You've been ignorant and you've been immature as shit this whole damn time. And then you trying to say something, oh, big baby over there mad. And I said, bitch, don't call me that shit, you ignorant fuck. That's what I said. Okay? And I'm not... And at that moment in time, I blanked the fuck out because I was pissed off that they was doing this shit. Because at this moment in time, Duran, that's a rock group. Duran Bernard was up there singing. He was on his last song, which was his version of Beyonce's Sorry. And baby, when he started singing that, we went the fuck up. Everybody lost it because it was fucking everything, okay? And I'm into it. And I'm like, I wish you would say something else. I don't know if he said anything else because I was done with it at that moment in time. And then they get up and leave like a minute after that. So you stayed this whole time, but you couldn't stand the fact that these men may or may not be gay, okay? You're so concerned about what their sexual preference are that you could not enjoy good music. You cannot enjoy the extremely talented brothers that got on this stage that were putting out good messages, okay? They weren't up there talking about no guns, no drugs, no nothing. They was talking about just living life, being in love, and all this stuff. And Black Lives fucking matter. But you focusing on their sexuality, okay? You're focusing on who the fuck they may or may not take home at night and go to bed with. That's what you're focusing on. Mind you, you're one of a couple that's a fucking newlywed, and y'all all sitting there with your women. You're sitting there with your woman, But you're focusing on this guy that may or may not be gay and their sexuality and who they prefer. That's very gay of you, if you ask me. Because why are you focusing on this man and not putting your attention on your woman? Not swooning with your woman? Not showing her a good night? But then fuck the women too because they was egging that shit on. They was just as bad. Why are y'all so concerned about what another person is doing in the privacy of their homes? Why how a person is carrying themselves, which is nothing but respectable because they're not doing nothing to anybody? Why was their sexuality on display and not the music? Why was that was the only thing that you saw? Who hurt you, boo? That's what I wanted to say to them. I said you sound so fucking ignorant. You sound so fucking immature, okay? And I just want to know what man hurt you because what you sound like is like somebody played with your ass and you liked it and they said no more. That's what it sounded like. Somebody said that you couldn't have it no more. Okay? I just don't understand the fact of getting upset over somebody else's sexuality, their preference. Why does it bother you so much? And especially when you have your own woman there that you probably could have just set this all up and be like, baby, that's some good ass music. I want to take you home and I want to get you, in the bed and put a baby in you and shit like that. But no, you're worried about this. And I know when they get out, they're talking shit about it, talking shit about the whole thing. And I'm like, if I'm in an environment that's so fucking uncomfortable and it's not what I'm used to, either I'm going to sit there and I'm going to learn and I'm going to be respectful, okay? I'm going to shut my fucking mouth and be respectful if I stay and keep my negative thoughts to myself, or I'm going to get the fuck up and leave because this is not what I thought it would be, okay? You should have got your ass up and left, all right? I've never, ever experienced anything like that. Never ever experienced any type of level of homophobia like that. You hear people talking about shit like that, and until experience it really, really pissed me off, and it was very disheartening that with all the stuff that's going on in this world, all the stuff and the messages that was being displayed in the music that these young brothers was talking about, that's all you can focus on. And it's not like they were blatantly putting it out there, or singing about fucking some man or some shit like that. No, they weren't even singing about that shit. But that's what you were focusing on. And it disturbed my soul so bad. And if I would have got my ass beat last night, I would have got my ass beat and I would have been proud to. Because I just couldn't sit there and just let somebody keep talking this shit and not say nothing. Mind you, it is a room full of gay men, some lesbians, and mostly straight women. You turn around, there is a gay man probably right behind you on the side of you, because we was all there to support Duran Bernard. That's all that we was doing, okay? And you talking all this shit about everyone that came past. And at one point, Duran came off the stage and was walking through the crowd, and he had to walk past us and them. And why did they look at him like he was a fucking disease? Like, I couldn't wait to leave. Like, I was gonna stay and try to say hello to Duran, because he follows me on Twitter and all that shit, whatever. And I just couldn't do it. I was just so pissed off. Like, I was so pissed off. Like, it was just irritating. It was irritating, man. But I just focusing on the wrong thing, people. I just wanted to put that out there. I just want to put my experience out there. It's just fucking sad. But shout out to a couple of subscribers that I seen. Asia, I met you in the line. You sat up front, bitch. I should have sat in that empty chair next to you. Corey, you gonna tell me on fucking Facebook that you saw me there and bitch didn't say nothing. Next time you better say something, bro. Okay, I was like, that was you up in the gray shirt, right? The gray sweatshirt right there. Bitch, you was in line with me in the thing. You could have said something then. Man, don't do that shit. And shout out to Sean. Sean and his friend. Y'all so cute too. Yeah, but other than that, I did enjoy myself. Everybody put on an amazing show, but I just had to tell that experience. I just had to vent. I'm sorry, y'all. But Y'all tell me how y'all thoughts on it, and I'll see you guys later. Peace. Oh, let me turn this off.